And let's head outside and talk about what we have been seeing across Tennessee. We'll start things off in Arkansas. I mean, that's the American flag, and it looks like a sheet of ice. It is still flapping in the wind, but you can clearly see the ice accumulation on the flag. This is West Memphis, Arkansas. So really, as you're going from Arkansas into Tennessee, it is slick and dangerous. Look at those icicles forming on the street light right there. It is incredible. You're talking about a growth of at least 4 to 5 inches of icicles stretching off of that. And then there's the power lines. I mean, easily 1/10 of an inch of ice on that power line. That equates to several hundred pounds of weight on power lines. And that means the power, it will start to go out. Right now, we're waking up to over 20,000 customers without power across America. That is a low number, and unfortunately, the trend is for it to grow higher. Let's bring in Brett Adair. He is a field meteorologist. Brett, what have you been seeing across Tennessee?
Well, Britta, we got into some pretty heavy icing as we went into the overnight hours. Last night, really after midnight, things started to pick up around the Memphis area, portions of eastern Arkansas there, where you're seeing most of that icing there along Interstate 55 and 40. Saw quite a bit of icing. Luckily, there wasn't a lot of travel going on. You had some vehicles on the roadway, but we didn't see much in the way of accidents, thankfully, in this particular area. As temperatures began to really dip below freezing as that heavier precipitation moved into the area.
And Brett, for folks that aren't very familiar with freezing rain, kind of describe what it looks like, because many can be caught off guard. They look out their window and they don't realize that it's freezing rain.
Well, freezing rain freezes more or less on contact or freezes after contact with the ground. So it basically looks like you're just watching a rainstorm outside versus, snow and, just sleet pellets. Those, they're going to have a more distinct sound. This just looks like it's kind of raining outside. And one thing that did, I think, help some of the area in this region is the rain came down really heavy right from the get-go here. So we didn't have much in the way of drizzle once it got below freezing, where it basically froze on contact on the roadways and accreted. So we had a lot of runoff, and I believe that actually helped some of the road travel, at least early on. But now, with the area dropping into the upper 20s and even some areas in eastern Arkansas down into the mid-20s, it's getting quite dicey out.
Yeah, and the concern here, Brett, is that a lot of temperatures between Arkansas and Tennessee will not get above freezing today. So whatever has accreted overnight, we're going to be stuck with throughout the day. And then we have the second wave of moisture moving through. Already radar trends showing that moisture getting into Texas. What is your concern in terms of additional amounts? I mean, I know we're still waiting for day of light, but a lot of the reports that we're getting are around 1/4 of an inch, with the second wave of moisture moving into an environment where we already have ice accreted on surfaces. Temperatures are going to remain below freezing. Do you think that we're going to lead out with a substantial ice storm for many locations?
It certainly looks that way across the Mid-South region, because we're already dealing with quite a bit of ice accretion, as you mentioned, on the trees, the power lines, especially the elevated surfaces. So if we can stay and maintain below freezing, and we have another round of precipitation moving to the area, we may end up with a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch when it comes all said and done with this ice storm, which when you put that weight on power lines and trees as we go through the next round, I have a fear that we're going to see quite a bit of power outages, and those numbers are going to skyrocket because, trees are going to come down and so are those lines.
Yeah, that's a big difference when you start talking about, over 1/2 an inch. That's when it starts to get pretty serious. Brett, thank you so much. We will check in with you throughout the day. Please stay safe out there, and we appreciate your insight.
I'm Amy Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather's YouTube page. We have more great videos on the way, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all things weather.